The quarry in Bikano Kandi falls in the Goanat Peninsula of Sihlet. Some who had been there earlier had acknowledged that it is much more wonderful than Jaflong. Throughout a latest commute to Sihlet, my neighbors and I decided to pay a visit to this in no way heard of before position. The avenue to Bikano Kandi itself is a deal with. After we got out of the Sihlet metropolis heading north, and previous wonderful fields and agricultural panorama that suppose monotonous after an hour, we noticed a stretch of highlands heavenwards, directly in entrance of us but at far. It took a while for us to figure out that those had been mountains. I've a gentle spot for mountains, so I was once just getting excited and having my intellect blown away by way of the sheer enormity of the stretch of land when our chauffeur burst my bubble with that falls in India. We took a left to the Goanat Avenue, which became out to be beautiful quiet. However, the lack of autos and humans was once made up for by way of the not ever-ending stretch of inexperienced hills punctuated with multiple waterfalls on that part of the border toward our proper. Even though it appeared inside a strolling distance, the mountains were certainly so much further away. Cursing the Brits beneath our breaths for leaving the wonderful mountains off the map of Bangladesh, we went previous Goanat town, and additional north towards a position known as Hyderpar. From Hyderpar, how you can Bikano Kandi will not be fit for cars. We both needed to walk 4 kilometers or employ a motorboat, which priced wherever between Taku 800 and 1,200, relying on how well that you could haggle, for a circular trip. We chose the boat at Taka 1,000. Only a few minutes after the boat took off we knew we had made the correct decision. The water was cool and easy as we meandered our means by way of. Each curve, every flip used to be a scenic beauty. We noticed a number of herds of oxen bathing and companies of youngsters swimming, some looking to race our boat even. But what are certain to impress anyone are the large mountains. These have been the same mountains that we had been seeing because taking the Goanat Avenue. The closer you get the extra real they grow to be. It can be like an enormous, tricky painting with the minutest of important points. We could see rocks narrowing the float of water at one factor, and there have been relatively a number of fellow vacationers, splashing water and taking images. From a distance, I thought, that's it? That is what we came here for? However, the moment we obtained off the boat and stepped on the mattress of rocks that types Bikano Kandi, I regretted having idea so. Going for walks over the rocks was tricky. We had to be extremely careful in order not to shuttle and hit our heads on the rocks. It led to shallow water, where one could take a seat and even lie down. It was like a bathtub of rocks. We would see the Indian waterfall, from which the movement's water comes. The border used to be just 100 yards or so away, and less complicated to identify as purple flags mark the brink of the hill that falls in India. A wood bridge connects this lowland to an expanded floor on the other side of the move that fortunately used to be within the Bangladeshi border, and used to be used as grazing land for cattle. During heavy rains, the Magi informed us, the water level reaches the higher land. This position redefined the word serenity for me. The Magi, who used to be safeguarding our possessions as good as being a guide, instructed us that Bikano Kandi has simplest very recently come to be a traveler attraction, given that the opening of this year according to him, so isn't yet developed with full facilities. He confessed that the locals feared that Bikano Kandi would meet the equal destiny as Jaflong, its pristine beauty marred through excessive visitors and quarrying. Half immersed in the cool water because the hours ticked through, being sunburned neck up regardless of the globs of sunscreen lotion, watching at the clear blue sky and the mystical mountains simply in front of us. I fairly hope that this location